In this video, we will discuss about FID operation. FID operation means how FID identify the application in Palo Alto firewall. The methods, the techniques which they use to identify the application. So basically there is 4 identification techniques which used by Palo Alto firewall to identify the application when it is crashing your network, regardless of port, protocol, SSL encryption, etc. Now what they will do, suppose if they receive a packet, let's go to our topology. From PC1, suppose if I want to go to twitter.com or facebook.com or whatever, so I send the traffic to outside. So when the firewall receive the packet on port 13, which is a LAN port, what they will do? First, they will check 5 to 6 things. Those are source address, destination address, source port, destination port, protocol, and security zone. So this is the first thing firewall will check, that the guy who initiate the traffic, this source IP is allowed or not, which is 10.0.1. It will go to the policy and they will check. Let's go to security policy, that there is no restriction on this IP to go outside. Then they will check the port, the source port. Then they will check the destination port and zone. Suppose here if I create a security rule here and put the source this 10.1.1. Suppose if I type 10.0.1.1 32, suppose and I say action is deny. So I give instruction to the firewall that if anybody from LAN with the IP address 10.0.1 going to outside destination, regardless of the application, what to do? Deny them. So do you think what will happen? Did they will analyze the packet? No. Because the first thing is required, there should be a rule to allow source address, destination address, source port, destination port, protocol, and security zone. So this is the first step. They will check with the security policy. Check with the security policy as I show you here. So in my case, yes, LAN to internet, there is no restriction on the source address, no restriction on the source port, no restriction on the destination port HTTPS, no restriction on DNS. So it's okay. These 5 to 6 things are allowed, and the security zone is also allowed, the LAN. This is the first thing. Now they will start the process to identify the application. The first method is application signature. This firewall has a huge database of signature, almost 5,000, and you can update them regularly as well. Here is, they will check them against these huge database of application signature. So in our case, we use Twitter. Twitter is already available in the application signature. There is Twitter base, there is Twitter editing, messaging, and they will identify them using the first method, application signature. It's okay. However, when I try to access this twitter.com, I'm using HTTPS, means SSL TLS, which is require encryption, which is encrypted. Now it require decryption policy to decrypt this SSL TLS traffic, or maybe it can be SSH. So in that case, the firewall will send and will check that there is a decryption policy or not. In our case, if I go to policies and go to decryption, yes, we have a decryption policy. There is decrypt LAN traffic. If I go to monitor, and whenever I try to access anything, and if I check, there should be decryption enable. If you go here, decryption is enabled. So in that case, in my case, when I access Twitter, which is encrypted traffic, they send them to decryption. So this is a second method to use, decryption. Now when it's decrypted, again they will send them to application signature. They will open them and they will send them to application signature that kindly check this against your application signature, that what the hell is these things. They will check them. Yes, they say this is a Twitter and this is a noun application signature, and they will identify them that this is a Twitter. However, they use the second method to decrypt them, and then they will check against the policy that Twitter is allowed or not in the security policy. They will send them to security policy. So two methods. The first method, we say it using the application signature database. If they identify, it's okay. If the traffic is encrypted, they will check with the decryption policy. They will decrypt them and send back to the application signature to identify. And when it is identified, then they will check them against the security policy. If it is allowed, they will allow them. If it is denied, they will deny. It's two methods. The third and fourth method is noun protocol decoder and unknown protocol decoder. When they check that still we cannot identify and determine the application signature, what they will do? They will use a decoder to analyze the packet more deeply, and they will send the packet to decoder, noun protocol decoder, and they will tell them, kindly can you decode this and find out, maybe there is a tunnel inside another, kindly find out what is inside this one. Beside these two methods we already discussed, this is the third method. They will decode them and send again to application signature to check them that I found out inside the packet these things. Kindly check them against the application signature. If you find out, then check with the security policy it is allowed or not. So this is a third method. Because application signature and decryption policy never identify the application, then they send them to noun protocol decoder to decode them. When they decode them, they will send them to application signature to check against the database. After that, then they will send them to policy that it is allowed or not. Now coming to the last method is unknown protocol decoder. Maybe not in this case, not in decryption, neither in the decoder they identify the application. So the last thing is they will use unknown protocol decoder, which is heuristics method. Heuristics method means to guess them. I can say to guess them. They will decode them and through behavior they will identify them. Based on the behavior, they will say, okay, this application is like this. Again, when they identify them, they will send them to policy check that it is allowed or not. If it is allowed, then it's okay. If it is not allowed, what they will do? They will deny them. So those are the four different methods they are using to identify the application. And I mention all these steps here. So it means allowed network traffic we can identify by FID. If FID identify them, such as FTP, SMTP, Facebook, Twitter, Google Drive. If unidentified by FID, they will check HTTPS is detected. If yes, then say it is SSL. If it is not, what they will do? They will check it is a web browsing or maybe unknown TCP, unknown UDP or unknown P2P in the logs. So this is the whole story. I mention in more detail here. You can go through them, and I told you about all these things as well. Either this is another way to check. So this is all about the FID operation, how they identify the application.